Hello and welcome, gentle viewers. This is Dreams of Schemes. I'm here today to show you something I've been working on for about 5 or 6 months, thereabouts. It's essentially a demo for a project I've been working on at college, and yeah, ultimately it's at the stage of play where it's pretty much a fully playable demo. I'm pretty pleased with what I've managed to get to grips with here, and yeah, it's so essentially what I'm going to be doing today is just going through that, testing that everything works as intended, seeing whether or not there's anything that doesn't, making notes of it, doing a little board testing as I do it. Probably not masses of testing because this is like the first time I've tried it, so I just want to make sure that everything base works right, and then I can work on the more the more stress testing sort of game breaking sort of stuff. So this is more just a brief playthrough to make sure that everything sort of sits right, everything seems to be coming across right, that sort of thing. So without further ado, I'll launch into the game and explain it from there. So unfortunately the music's gone off, so let me just launch back into the main menu to show that off. There we go. Okay, so the music's firing alright every time that you load into level, that's a good sign. First off, we've got the options screen. There's only the resolution that you can really change in there right now, and to be honest, it's optimised for 1280 by 720. 1920 by 1080 does work, but I believe it stretches things a bit, and 640 by 480 currently doesn't work, but it's very rare that we get a monitor that would need to display that low these days, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to leave it on the base one. It definitely does work. I'll show you as an example. Now I'll just have to check with OBS and make sure that that hasn't ripped the recording to shreds. Just bear with me a second. No, that seems alright, except a little bit's crept into the bottom. There we go. Okay. Right, all good. So the return button works and everything. They do... See, that resolution, change of the resolution has made them stretch a bit, so I need to work on how that renegotiates that. Still, the codec, I might end up changing the name. Essentially, it's the game rules, so I'll just give them a quick readout to you. It's a real-time strategy game based around managing destroying enemy units while preventing neutral units from accomplishing their goal. The rules are that you control the pirates, the blues, with a left click to select and a right click to move. F10 pauses, and clicking the plus and minus keys, I should probably change the phraseology, the clicking the plus and minus on screen essentially, speeds and slows the movement speeds. The camera's controlled with the WASD controls, and you can also scroll to the sides of the screen to move it. For additional controls, you can press F10 and bring up the controls option. Units automatically attack when in range, so all you have to do is move them. That does loop, by the way, but I've not set it up to do that just yet. I wanted to make sure it was firing a trigger, and then I can put it onto loop once I've actually gotten more to grips with it. Stop the neutrals green. That's your objective from getting a set number of ships into the fort area, top left. You can't move in there without taking heavy damage. The Vikings, the Reds, move around intermittently. You will likely have to chase them. They are the win condition, so you do have to hunt them down. There's also a healing area in the bottom right, which will repair your damaged ships. All fairly straightforward. Now, I'm just going to check here as well. I want to make sure that... Yeah, okay, OBS is still working. Essentially, I'm paranoid about OBS because the last couple of times I've tried this, it has lagged the game horrendously, and the recordings have turned out terrible. So if you see me flitting between the two, I do apologise, but I just want it to come out alright. So we've checked the codecs, we've checked options. Quick game, I can show you at the end anyway, so we'll leave that for now. So play game. As you very briefly saw when I reset it, you've got the 3 options, the difficulty menus. The tooltips are a bit small, but again, that's something I can sort out. At least they're producing something. Easy is defeat... Well, let me start that bit again. All 3 of them, the win condition is to defeat all the Vikings, so the Reds. The loss condition is to either let 15 neutral ships on easy get to the fort, 12 on medium, and 10 on hard. There's also the caveat that on easy, enemies do less damage and you deal more damage, and on hard, enemies do high damage and you deal less damage. So you've got that to factor in as well. You also start off with an extra ship per mode, so on hard you only get 2, and the spawn rates are reduced as well. So essentially it's more in line. With medium, you start equal footing, and on easy you get a ship advantage. So alongside you dealing more damage, easy gives you more ships, and on hard, alongside you dealing less damage, you have less ships. So you've got to sort of manage them better. So we'll start off on easy, just so I can talk it through as we do it. So launches in fine, brings the music in fine, the UI seems to be updated right. Ignore the lighting needs to be rebuilt, that's next on the task list because I've not actually built it yet. This is why I'm playing it in engine. Unit wise, cool, another blue one spawned in. As you can see, when you click them, the trigger is firing, so you can see which one's selected. The HP is all coming fine, and it does rotate with the screen, so that's all cool. It's displaying all the amounts of units correctly. You've got your 3 reds, which you can see on the minimap, and that is this damage area firing on the Vikings, and that's a Viking ship dead. So that's the heavy damage that if you go into that area, it's just to try and stop you having a cheesy way around getting rid of the neutral units once they've been spawning. So as we see another one spawned in and moved there, that's fine, it's counting it right. So let's go and test out our combat. It seems to be recording fine, so I'm alright for now. I'm happy with that. So we've got the reds here. As you can see, they do minimal damage on easy, so it's not hard to get rid of them. There's 2 dead. I could finish it off with this guy, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check that the damage one is working, and then I'll check the final mechanics. Damage healing, sorry. Yep, that's fine. Pausing works, brings up controls. Quit takes me back to the menu. I'll do that one at the start of the next one. Oh no, I've already checked that because that's what I did to come back out, so that's fine. And resume should start it back up again. Yeah, cool. So let's finish this guy off, and that is a level win. That's a bit slightly off kilter, so I'll need to renegotiate that. Sorry, just making a note of that. Play again, needs fixing. If it's jumping now, it's because I've come out of it and it was sort of moving in the background. There's a minor bug in that you can still move to the sides of the screens as you're on the final screen, but the main camera controls don't work. And I actually kind of like that. I kind of like the fact that you can sort of look around the way the carnage that you would have left behind once you've, won it. The music fires in alright as well. I don't think it's spawning any units on the final map, no. I'm pretty sure as well. I'll just try clicking them and see whether or not it does let me. Nope, you can't move anything, so that's cool. So we'll play again, bring it straight back to the main menu, and we'll go for medium. Okay, we've got these guys moving, that's fine. I'll bring all of them up. It does take a little longer than I'd like for that unit selector to fade, but it does fade eventually, so I'm happy with that at the moment. And it's not as though it's not easy to figure out which one you've recently selected, considering it resets when you do it, so that's fine. One thing I didn't test was the speed settings. 0, essentially, it doesn't stop play. You can still issue orders, as you can see, but it doesn't let them move. So essentially, it's as close to a pause without a pause. So that's if you like getting a bit stuck for commanding things. And you can change the actual movement speed. I don't believe it sets the... here we go. Let's just test these guys getting into combat. That's fine. Oh, I crossed a bit too close and lost a ship. So that's fine. That tests out something else I was going to check. Whether or not my ships take that damage. That's fine. Okay, so other bit I was going to check. Yeah, I need to get moving with these guys. So as you can see, there's now 4 Vikings on the map, which makes it that tiny bit harder. So let's... yeah, like I was saying, it doesn't necessarily slow down the respawn rate, so it does technically benefit you to have it on a higher speed setting, but on the same token, it's a little more harder to control and chase them down, so the difficulty isn't set in stone one way or another. So I'm just going to send these guys over here. That's fine. There's 4 back on the map though, jeez. Come on, you got this. Right, we'll just have to take a hit with these guys, I think. We're 4 for 3, so we're in relatively good shape. There we go. As you can see, there is a little dead zone in front of them where they don't actually end up shooting, which I quite like, because that is fairly accurate to naval combat. Not ridiculously so, but... excuse me. So we've got these last 2 ships to take care of. I don't think these guys are in quite good enough shape to do anything about them. Neither is this guy. There is 5 up there, but there's 12 allowance, so we can get around that. That's fine. We have got a fresh ship coming in. You can take down that one, and then we can build up from there. I didn't realise I'd left the slow settings on there, but that's fine. These guys are not healing that accurately. I wonder why it stopped healing them. Maybe it's because it doesn't know which one to cast to. Or maybe it's just that slow. There we go, though. Another victory. I'll have to add that to the list. Stress test healing fountain. Okay. But that works as intended. Victory's all set up. That's cool. So now to play hard. And I want to say I'm not going to try on this one, but I am going to try. I'm going to try and win. But if I get too close to winning, I might throw it, just so that I can check the defeat screen's working fine too. We've already just had a blessing because these guys move around at random essentially. So we had a bit of a blessing in that one of them decided to move into the danger zone, shall we say. So I've got 2 of them down. There's still 2 on the map, and I only have the 1 ship. Oh, this is tight. Don't chase me, please. There we go. No. Wow. That was some unlucky RNG for me there. Right. While he's healing, let's send him another one. Okay, it's healing fine when there's 1 in there, but if there's multiple, it doesn't seem to enjoy it, so... Right, that's cool. Let's send him down to heal. Let's get the other one. Ah, oh, damn. I thought that was going to get him killed. Because they fire off one last little shot as they die, so I thought that was going to be the end of him, unfortunately. With you starting at a 1-person disadvantage, it really does turn the scales in the favour of the enemy, because you do about the right amount of damage. Although that one just did us a favour by going into the danger area, so we'll have to see. So it's the enemy's halfway there to produce the neutral units. I guess this is still not particularly bad. Oh, they've produced another one, okay. Yeah, I guess this is still not particularly bad, because I've not been completely on the ball and I've still been able to win fairly easily. Well, that just happened. Okay, that's definitely a bug. I don't know what happened there, but I'll see what I can do to recreate that, because that just flew off the level. That is so strange. I've not had that happen to me before. Of course it would happen while I'm recording. But still, they're up to 7. I am out of units. And, yeah. And they're on 3, so I think I paused a little too long there, and I think I'll have lost this at this rate. Oh, unless he gets a kill without any damage, that's a good start. Right, you go and get that guy, and you go down here. Actually, like I said, I don't really want to get the win here, I guess. Well, there's another spawned anyway. It's possible, but I guess it's difficult enough. It's not overly difficult. Although one of them just got killed in there, so I'm just going to hang fire until the last screen spawns just to check the defeat screen and make sure that that works, because I'd rather test that than... there we go, 10th one's in there. And that hasn't fired for some reason. I'll have to double check that, because that should have fired on 10 on hard mode. So maybe I've done something on the branch somewhere that hasn't quite added up. So that's 11. We'll just get a last one. Oh, the last one killed. We've got another one hiding by the health bar. Also, I've still yet to figure out how to stop the camera going out of bounds, so that's next on the list as well. So that's 11, that is 12, and it's still not fired. Okay, so the defeat screen isn't quite working yet, so I'll need to go back and fix that. I wonder if I've not... Well, it's got the counter in, otherwise it wouldn't be counting the units at the top, so I'll have to try and figure out why that's not fired. But for all intents and purposes, I think that's been fairly successful. It showcased most of the stuff that's in there. The only thing that needs tweaking is the defeat screen, which I can deal with one bug, and also that being slightly off kilter. But for the most part, that is Legacy Corsairs. Once that's got that that last screen finished, I'll re-upload it, hopefully with the tweaks in place as well, and then we'll go from there. But thanks for watching. This has been Dreams and Schemes, and I hope you had as much fun as I did. Bye bye.